Namaste, bentornata, bentornato sul canale. Questo è un video speciale, sì, perché a volte succedono le cose speciali come quella che è accaduta in queste ultime settimane, 10 giorni. E non sto parlando di Pasqua, ma sto parlando del fatto che ho vissuto a stretto contatto col mio maestro Kaustubha Desikachar, che è venuto a Modena, ospitato nel mio centro, per condurre un seminario fantastico sui 5 Bhuta e la relazione dei 5 elementi nella pratica. Durante il tempo che abbiamo passato insieme, il maestro mi ha concesso un regalo. Il regalo è stato quello di potergli fare 3 domande in un video, e questo è il video, tra poco lo vedrete. Perciò ho chiesto ad allievi, no, ad alcuni allievi, se avevano delle domande particolari che avrebbero voluto porgere verso il maestro, fare al maestro, e così ne ho raccolte tra quelle che mi sono arrivate 3 e le ho fatte. E così ora noi ci guardiamo il video del maestro Kaustubha Desikachar che risponde a 3 delle mie domande. Se ti piace quello che faccio in questo canale, anche se questo è un video un po' particolare, perciò non saranno tutti quanti così, ti invito ad iscriverti, a registrarti, a mettere un mi piace e a condividerlo con i tuoi amici. Io, nel caso tu non lo sapessi, mi chiamo Davide Barchi, pratico e insegno da qualche decennio e questo è quanto, perciò video col maestro Kaustubha Desikachar e 3 domande. Grazie, buona pratica. Oggi è una giornata speciale perché ho un ospite speciale, veramente speciale sul canale, il mio maestro Kaustubha Desikachar, e sono felicissimo di introdurvi a lui, e mi ha regalato la possibilità di fargli 3 domande. Allora dovete sapere che ho chiesto queste domande tra gli allievi e sono venute fuori alcune, perciò ne ho scelte 3 e ora le farò al maestro. Se tutto andrà bene vedrete i sottotitoli, altrimenti è un bel corso di inglese così che lo impariamo tutti quanti un po' meglio. So thank you, Master, to be here to answer
Thank you.
the question of my student. And the first question is about the meaning of teaching. What is about you the meaning of teaching?
For me personally, teaching holds a very, very great meaning. For me, I consider it as my dharma, and I consider it as one of the greatest dharma that is possible. And this has got so many reasons for me that I feel this way. One is because the very word for teaching in our language is called upadesha. That means to sit near, to be very close to a person. And for me, this is very, very, very important because when I teach my students, that is what I try to create a space where I can be close to them and they can be close to me. And there can be a great exchange, not only of information, but of so many other things that are part of an interaction. So it's a very auspicious form of a relationship, I would say. It's a sacred relationship that I share with my students and they share with me. And the way I see teaching is also that the way I teach is I try to help them to become closer to their true nature. And in this process, it is also helping me to be close to my true nature. That's why I also feel the magic of the word upadesha, which means to go near. It's not only to go near the student or go near the teacher, but eventually to go nearer to ourself, true nature, our own true nature, and that wisdom and clarity that we hold in our heart in the form of the divine presence. So that's why for me teaching is such a noble profession, because it's not only helping us to be close with each other, but through that proximity with each other, we are actually also becoming more close to the divine in our heart. And that's why I call it a sacred relationship, a sacred dharma. And that is why I'm very, very proud to be a teacher, and I'm very, very proud to be a student as well of my teachers. And I really hope that my students can also be one day proud of me. So this is what teaching means to me.
Thank you, sir. Second question is about how was Kaustubha Desikachar before practicing yoga, if there is a Kaustubha Desikachar before yoga, of course.
Well, this I have to go very long time ago because I started practicing yoga perhaps when I was 8 or 9 years old. It's a very, very long time ago because I obviously was born in a family where yoga was very much present. But I think if I can just remember some things prior to that, I was a little bit hesitant and resistant to yoga before because it was so much a part of the environment, and I by nature I'm also a bit rebellious, and so I was trying to avoid it. But somehow the forces of the universe is very strong, and it bring me to the path of yoga. And I also feel very fortunate about it because it's also by accident, and there is no accidents in this world, but uh, the plan is perfect, but it is not really our plan. I was not intending to join yoga classes, but it so happened that when my father was teaching in the school that he created, they started a children's class for the children of all the teachers, and many of the teachers, they brought their children to these classes. I didn't want to go, and my father never insisted that I should go because he was of that nature that we should never push anybody. So I just did not go. But my brother and my sister, they were going to these classes, and this is in the 1980s, at that time where there was not much entertainment in the form of television or video games or things like that in India. So usually we played with our siblings and people around in our neighborhood. And these classes were often in the Saturday in the afternoon. So imagine a young boy like me who is full of energy, and I'm sitting in the house, but I have no brother, no sister to play with. And some of the kids in our street were also attending those yoga classes. So in a way, I was left alone, abandoned. And if I wanted to be with them, I had to go to the classes. So that is what prompted me to start yoga classes. It's an accident, and I'm very, very fortunate, and I always feel very grateful because I didn't run away from that class, because my first yoga teacher was a wonderful, wonderful lady called Sangeeta. Now she is Sangeeta Prabhakar, but in the early days she was Sangeeta before she got married. And she was my first yoga teacher in that school. She was one of my father's students, and she was a wonderful, very fun teacher, and that's why I didn't get demotivated from doing yoga, but actually much more motivated to do yoga. And I'm very, very grateful that I had this lucky accident and this wonderful first teacher who glued me to yoga. And so it's a very long time ago, but I always have very, very fond memories. And I remember the reason what brought me to yoga. But after that, things were much more different. Yeah. So that's a long time ago.
Thank you, sir. Thank you again. So last question is a bit of tricky question because if you have to choose just one teachment to transfer to the future generation, just one.
It's very difficult because there is a few things that I would like to say, but if I would like to just simplify it down to one thing, I would simplify it to being a good human being. We are now basically depending too much on machines and electronics and digital gadgets. So we are losing a bit of being a human. We also don't want to connect with our emotions. That's also part of our human experience. We are not wanting to connect with our social environment. A lot of people have social awkwardness because they're so dependent on gadgets. That's also removing ourselves from being a human. we must be human first, and because being a human experience is a very, very good experience. And in that human experience, we should try to be a good human, because we all need to function with each other. And if we are not going to be good humans, or we are not going to be humans, I think there is not much future for human beings. And so I think if everything can be simplified into one thing, I would focus on being a good human being. This is what is so essential today.
Thank you, sir, so much. Very wise.
Namaste. Thank you.
Namaste.
Namaste.
Ciao a tutti. Namaste.
Ciao.
Bye bye.